2. Perfect. Good morning, guys. We're here in Guthrie, Oklahoma, the Lazy Arena, and we arrived yesterday, got our horses rode, and we're here primarily to school preparing for the Derby. And schooling is something that we've been doing a lot this year, along with showing, in order to keep our horses honest in the show pen. And I think that's probably one of the biggest challenge in reining horses, or potentially in all other disciplines, is getting our horses to keeping our horses honest in the show pen. And there's always some key areas that seem to be the most problematic area for reining horses, that are either areas where they'll get nervous or anticipate more. So horses being nervous in the middle, or not really wanting to slow down from the fast circle to the small circle, anticipating the lead change, or coming around the ends to a run down where they'll be dropping their shoulder into that turn and not complete that turn and bolt into that rundown. And so those are all things that make a reining horse, that can make a reining horse very difficult to show and potentially really affect your score dramatically, even if your maneuvers are quite impressive. And so for me, it's very important to work on these key areas while schooling my horses, in order to keep them as good to show and as honest as I can in the show pen, and as happy. So there's a few different ways of schooling horses. I've got three horses here that I'm schooling. One is Green. He's never been shown, so he doesn't have any of those areas where he anticipates or gets nervous about it, because he hasn't been put in a very stressful situation yet showing hard. And I've got another one that's 7 years old that, on the contrary, has many areas in the show pen where he can be very, very tricky to show if I don't have him prepared right and I don't have him confident. So I'm going to be schooling both of those horses this morning. I'm going to have Teo videotape it, and we'll sit down and chat about it, and I'll explain you how I program and prepare my horses to be as honest and as ready to show as possible. So we'll talk again in a bit. See ya. Guys, I'm walking here on the way to the arena to bring the camera up there before I get on my horse so that Taya can film me. And I've never been here to Guthrie, to the Lazy Arena, but there's that little bridge here. Let me show you that you walk through from the barns, and then on that side you've got that little fountain in the river, and then there's this spot right here with that little ridge and the fountain and that tree that I think I'm going to try and snap some photos later on with Dreamin' or something, because this looks like a very magical area. But anyways, so there's that little path that you cross on your way to the arena here, and then you get the warm-up arena here, and then the main arena, which is huge, humongous pen. So I'm gonna go put the camera in there and let you guys take a look. All right, so this looks like a perfect spot to set up here, right here in the middle. So I'm going to be schooling two horses this morning. The first one's going to be Ice. So if you watch my videos, you know him. It's a 4-year-old. He's never been shown. So my program this morning is going to be different than the second horse that I'm going to school a little bit later on this morning, which is Dreamin'. And that's a 7-year-old that has been shown quite a bit and gets pretty nervous in the show pen. Both have the ability to plus every maneuver in the pattern, but both can be have some things that can get in their way of doing that, completely different things. And so my approach is going to be different for both of them, but my goal is the same. So let's get both of those schooled, and then we'll visit about it here shortly. Laters. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back. So we just got through schooling Ice and Dreamin'. Very positive experience on both count. I'm very happy with how they did. We'll start with walking you through the paid warm-up I did with Ice. Now there's so much I could get into it. I'm going to try to keep this to the point as much as I can, because there's just so much that I can say, and it's really not like exactly how you should do this with your horse. This is just how I did this with this horse today. Could be different on another day or down the road, or it could have been different a month ago, but this is how it went today, and I'm going to walk you through it to give you an idea, because I feel that sometimes a little bit of guidance or having some sort of a plan going into a paid warm-up can be quite beneficial. So let's go through this, and I'll walk you through what's going on in my head during this period, and what in the period leading to it, and afterwards what I did when I came out of the pen. So let's get this started. So here I decided to trot in, so definitely not a must. You could walk in. I feel like In his case, it didn't make much of a difference. I wanted to have maximum time once I was in there, so I felt like a slow walk all the way to the middle of that large arena was going to be probably losing 30 to 45 valuable seconds. So I decided to trot there. And plus, I feel like in some cases, horses that are a little bit more laid back side like him, and it gives them a little pep in the step and can help maybe help give you a little extra step in the turnaround. So I decided to start with the turnaround there. This is not the quickest turner. I think he's got a pretty strong and correct step, and I think he will be able to score a +1/2 in his turnarounds down the road. For now, I feel like there he's a little bit stiff on his left shoulder. I feel there's a lot that I would like to do right now. I would like to take him 2 hands, take him into a small circle, work on this turnaround, but that would not be practical. That would be wasting valuable time. This is something that I can do after. The important things here was when I opened my leg, laid my rein, he went in with sting, he shut down remotely sharp when I asked him to. I know that this is something I'll have to tune a little bit better and keep in mind. And again, this is the priority, or this is my goal in schooling this horse, is figuring out all of these things and getting the feel for him. So overall, very happy with that first maneuver. Could he have turned better? Yes. Does it matter right now? Not so much. This side, he sucks back a little bit. He's a little bit less confident in his step. I think that it will become his better side down the road. So for now, I'm not too bothered by him not picking up that extra speed that I would have liked for him to get. So I decided to just let him turn his own pace. I didn't ask so much more with my leg in that turn. He shut down okay, so I decided to reward him and figure that this is enough for what I need right now. So let me pause this here for a second, because if you noticed, I did a small circle at the walk there, applying my outside leg, just kind of reconnecting to my right diagonal, something that I do so often in practice, and I feel like this is a way to bring my horse back into its comfort zone, bringing it back into its diagonal. So this is the first thing that I will do after the turn, loping off into my fast circle or slow circle or whatever. So I felt like it was good to especially for horses that are nervous in the middle, I think that it's good to sometimes not just stand there and I think it's just break the routine a little bit and do something they're very familiar with that brings them back into their comfort zone and in a position that they're ready to execute anything. Whether I wanted to turn him again, which I debated in this instance, maybe turn him one more time to the right, but then I opted against it, knowing that, hey, this is what I got right now, go with it, improve it later, but because I still want to see a few more things. So when schooling your horse, and especially when showing your horse, this is something that is very important to me, and it's something that I mention to all of my students, is that it's very important that when you walk towards just the left side of the middle in order to line yourself up for that large circle, it's very important to have a very free state of mind, not overly think about everything, because once you start to think about everything and just really think about that lead departure and everything that could go right or wrong or whatever, if you just fill your mind with a lot of stuff and you worry about things, your horse will feel that, and then definitely not the case definitely not the case for ice, but in horses that are stressed out, that that are walking on eggshells a little bit, leading toward that lead departure, that tend to jump into that lead departure before you actually had to really apply your leg and cluck them onto that lead departure. It's very important to be able to walk, relax, free your mind of all thoughts. Think in your mind that you're going to walk 10 circles. You're not about to lope off, you're going to walk. And then when you feel that your horse is calm enough and is waiting and is not walking on eggshells, like I said, or anticipating that lead departure, then this is the time to lift your hand, apply your leg. And if you're schooling, this is the time where if the horse is thinking lead departure, you're setting him up for lead departure, but you didn't ask for lead departure, so you shouldn't be thinking lead departure so much. So if you feel that that's the case, then I would suggest that you just keep on putting your outside leg, lifting your hand, pushing him into its diagonal, setting up for that lead departure, and then releasing, and then repeating that until when you release, he's like, oh, okay, I guess we're not going to lope off, and then at that point in time, you lope off. So in this case here, not too much to say about this first circle. I decided to keep it slow and keep it relaxed and just kind of get him going and find my comfort zone with him and make sure that that he's just thinking, hey, this is relaxed, this is good, we're in a good place, nothing to worry about. And once I've got that, then I decided to open him up a little bit and see how he felt. If I ran him a solid big 0 speed, close to +1/2 speed, and see if he stayed in frame. I know that I'm schooling and I'm wanting to see what I have, so I'm going to try to leave him alone and do it one-handed and leave him alone as much as I can, but I'm not going to let him get out of frame or get out of position, okay? Because it's still very important for me to keep, to have a positive experience where I control and always let my horse know that I am in control. So schooling is a good time to test things and put them on the spot if you want to fix stuff, but don't let him get away with too much, because then it's going to be counterproductive. So there I opted into lifting my hands and putting him back into his comfort zone when I felt that he was stretching out on me a little bit or getting a little bit tight. Good slow down, I'm happy with that. So I decided to just keep on trucking and go on into my lead change, because I figured that this is something that I may needed to do. See there, he anticipated that lead change, and then I brought him back and then asked him to change, and he did some funky moves. So, but it wasn't anything that it was worth punishing or getting after him for. I think that it was just, okay, miscommunication. He didn't mean bad. He's a little inexperienced, so I figured the best is to just pretend that it was sort of my idea, or pretend that, you know, nothing bad happened, keep going a few strides, break him down to a walk, and lope him off again on that counter canter and ask him that lead change again. He's a good lead changer, but he does react funny to my leg every now and again. That may be because he was trained mostly by in his younger years by someone with shorter legs, and I may touch him somewhere that's a little bit different than he's used to, and he's not too happy about that sometimes. He is a young stallion, so something that's going to require some work over time. Not something I want to be picking a fight with him over in the show pen, definitely. So I'll be tolerant to some imperfections, but as long as I feel him try and not do anything too silly, then I'm gonna just go with it. Then I decided to go right away into my right circle, especially after him being a little bit silly about his lead change. I figured the best thing to do right now was not to lope around slow, was to get moving forward, and he tends to drop his shoulder a little bit more on the right side, so I wanted to see if I felt like I could show him through that, or I needed to help him out there. I felt like he stayed pretty honest, and if I lifted my hand, I felt like I kind of got control enough over his body, so I decided that that right circle felt pretty good, and it was a good opportunity to break him down and let him catch his air for a second, because it is a horse that's a little bit on the lazier side, and he grew up in Canada, so he's still getting acclimated to the weather here, and it's a little bit hotter than he's used to. So I got to get him in good shape in order to be competitive in the competitions. But so for now, I think every chance I get to let him catch his air, I think is going to be to my benefit. Now I decided to go back onto that right lead there and do a little bit of counter cantering at the top of the arena. I didn't want to be doing this in the middle because the gate is on the left side, and I think that you know, it's especially him that tends to favor that left side, drop his shoulder on the left a little bit, coming through that middle. I could have gone counter canter and changed lead at the quarter of that circle, which would have been, I think, okay in his case. But in order to save the time of doing that and coming back around or trying to, I decided to just, you know, from the top of that small circle there, go into a counter canter, do something a little bit different. And this is something that you'll see me do with all of my horses when I'm schooling. I like to leave that small circle, because I always feel like that second half come into the middle is where they anticipate, is where they think about it. So I might do a few small circles until I feel they're not anticipating. I may work on things in the middle. Again, there's so many different things that I do or that I may do for many different reasons, but generally I like to just, when I feel that I've got what I want up until that point, I like to leave that small circle, from the top of that small circle, go into a counter canter, and from there change him lead at the top of the arena, and then go on into my rectangles to work on my stops from that point. So this is just something that I like to do when I'm schooling my horses, and a way to save a little bit of time in doing something a little bit different that I feel is a productive thing on many levels, because you're doing something that's away from the gate versus changing lean toward the gate. Turning the corner is going to be very important here. So definitely not a problem of his. So, and he's not one that's going to be, you know, getting ahead of me in the run downs, because he's a little bit on lazy side and he is still green. So it's not a problem yet. So instead, I'm working that drive. I'm working on being able to push him to the speed that I want in order to get a solid 0+ half stop. And then if I feel that at the end I slow him down into my hand and he reacts well, then the next time around I'll just run him down and try a stop. Again, this is a young horse, so I don't feel like I need to run him all the way to the end, because he's not anticipating anything. So I just wanted to test. If I ran you second to third gear and I said, whoa, you know, were you going to stop? If I backed you a step or two, rolled you back, how was it going to be. And then following that that roll back, I take the opportunity to channel and drive him through that left diagonal, change him lead one more time to the right. And so again, working on that right lead change on few occasions, and creating opportunities to do that left to right lead change in situations where I feel like it's going to be productive for the overall experience of the paid warm-up. So now I'm back on the right lead, and I'm going to test, I'm running out of time, so I'm going to test one more stop there on the right lead. I felt like he built very, very well there, gaining ground, first gear, second gear, third gear, and hitting that stop solid and driving from behind in that third gear. So this is definitely something that's good about this horse, and this is what I want to see and what I want to feel when I'm running my horses down in the show pen. I like my horses to build the gears just like he did there. And if you're going to be needing to build a little bit more speed a little bit sooner, then just starting hitting those gears a little bit early on in the pattern. Now he hit that stop a little bit bouncy, so what I decided to do is back him up and free up his shoulder by lifting my hands and bumping left and right with my legs until I feel like he's pulling himself with his hocks and lifting his feet and thinking about using his hocks and keeping his shoulders elevated. So, and then I'm going to lope him off and just not go fast, but lope him a few strides forward, ask him again, much freer in the front end there, so end on a really good note. Okay, so all in all, very satisfied with how this paid warm-up worked out. Now, a little something that I try not to do is walk straight out, letting my horse lead the way out of the pen with my hand down. No, if I'm gonna get out of that pen on my horse, I'm gonna do it backing him up. Or I will get off and walk out. So, but try to not let your horse walk out of the pen on its own with your hand on the neck, because maybe it's not a problem yet. Maybe it's not a problem ever. But when it becomes, when they become attracted to that gate and just have more of that in mind when you're coming near it or you're doing your pattern, then where you want to go, this is when it gets pretty difficult to pilot your horse through a pattern. And so all of those little details very important. And if I have a horse that I would have schooled and that has a strong magnet pull towards the gate, I probably would have gotten off of them with their head facing the other way, somewhere around the middle of the arena. Okay, so so again, this is just me walking you through this this paid warm-up. I wish I could have 20 to 30 more of those this weekend so that I can just work on everything that I want to work on until it's all perfect. But I feel like I like where I'm at, and at some point in time you got to get in the show pen and show. So this is what we're here to do. So I entered him in the Novice Horse Open for tomorrow's class at the end of the day, so I'm going to be filming that, so I'll have that and potentially post it, or I can share it, or I may comment on it down the road if this is something you guys would like me to do. So comment in the comments how you guys want me to follow this up with this horse. But you'll be seeing more of him down the road anyways, and many more videos about how to prepare your horse to show, how to school, and how to deal with all of those situations. So this was not really a problem fixing type of situation. It was more a confidence building and testing type of situation, but I felt it went really well, and I hope that you've learned something from it. So if you did, give this video a thumbs up, and I will probably walk you through the schooling run on Dreamin' in another video so that this video doesn't drag on too long. So stay tuned for that, and see you guys in the next video. Cheers.